Welcome to the show. Jason Bible, Texas Real Estate Radio Network, here with my business partner, Robert Orfino. It is monsoon season here in Houston, Texas. A lot of folks don't know it's a rainforest down here.
It's a swamp.
It is a swamp. So it is raining cats and dogs, and I drove the wrong whip to work today. So I might be having to Uber my way home. If the streets get flooded, the Type R stays here.
Seal the floor.
Yeah.
We had someone up north asked us, do the plants all get crushed with all the rain? It's like, no, they all bounce back really.
That's funny. Like, it's weighs too much? Is that like?
Yeah, well, in some parts of the country, when it rains and hails, it destroys crops,
yeah.
right? And it's like, no, these are all coming back.
No, these all
takes about an hour.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. You can actually watch grass grow here.
That's pretty fast.
It's pretty incredible. So in any case, it's raining cats and dogs, and Rob and I were in a meeting, and Rob, I think you said somebody was like, "Well, it's going to rain today," and you're like, "It's not lava falling from the sky."
Not like lava. Yep.
Are you driving around a convertible all day? So
get out there, do it.
I think my Land Cruiser is supposed to get done today, and it doesn't look like that's going to happen. But this would be the perfect vehicle for that. It's not lava falling from the sky. It's just a little wet stuff. Yeah, it's wet stuff.
Wood dries out. What are we talking about?
Yeah, I don't get it. Anyway. Pretty funny.
Yeah.
My pool's getting filled up. That's all I know.
My pool is overflowing. That's what I know.
Perfect.
Yep.
And then everyone's getting the test of, this is the first test of the year for real estate investors in two areas. One is, you thought you had a roof leak. You'll know by the end of the day.
I've been spot checking because I hardly ever use the upstairs, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
Been spot checking.
Walking around like, all right, where's the stain? I'll tell you, it's fun in a commercial building because I can figure out where our roof drains are. So I'm just like walking around. I can hear the water running through the walls and stuff. And then the second one is, you're getting a reality check on your drainage. So the guys in the mastermind were like,
going on right now.
They're like, hey, so I bought this a couple months ago, and it looks like the yard's flooding. I'm like, it's just part of the deal, man.
Right.
So anyway, silly real estate stuff going on here at the Texas Real Estate Investment Center.
Yeah, we have one down in Surfside. It's like, hey, it looks like there's some water coming. It's like, well, I'm sure the house settled, and wherever that weep screen was, it's now 6 inches lower.
That's right. Yeah, it's coming on in.
Yep.
Just adjust accordingly. This is all part of the plan, folks. All part of the plan. So
we're talking about maintaining the assets today.
Okay.
We talked a lot about that, and we had our mastermind weekend. We had a great weekend. A lot of people showed up. A lot of deals were done, so it's all good. And I was very happy for the folks that hadn't attended the mastermind yet. Mm-hmm. I think they had a really good weekend.
Yeah, I think everyone was pretty blown away. They're like, holy cow, is it? And I said, it's different every weekend. Like, we do a different. And so, the point of the mastermind is it's shared excellence is probably a good way to put it, right? What are our best practices and what's working and what's not? And then, of course, we're a couple of steps ahead of a lot of the folks in there. So we're like, all right, this is what we're seeing on the horizon. Mm-hmm. This is what we're doing, and we suggest you guys do the same thing. So great weekend. Always a lot of fun. I can't wait till we start traveling for this thing, which I guess will be not this quarter. It'll be the August one that we end up traveling for. So if you guys are interested in joining our mastermind and actually doing real estate,
yes,
you can text mastermind to 281-401-9008.
No neophytes in that room.
No.
None.
In fact, we put deals up on the board. We're like, who wants this one? Okay, I'll take that. Who wants this? Who wants that? Everybody
we had a nice little package. And I won't go into details. We're not 100% under contract, but
we had a package of properties.
And I was hoping we were going to take the lion's share. And by Friday morning, it looked like we were keeping 75% of them.
Yeah.
And then by Sunday afternoon, we were down to keeping 10%.
So
and forcefully keeping 10%.
That's right.
Like, you're not moving all of us out. We're not
right.
out.
So one of the things that we've told everybody in our mastermind, if you join our mastermind, if you want to buy, you get right of first refusal on the single family we contract in Houston.
1 to 4 units.
1 to 4 units, Houston area. So Rob and I get a deal that comes in, and we send it out to everybody in the mastermind and say, who wants this? Yep. And usually 1 or 2 may pipe in and say, well, let me go look at it. I'll go. So there's not like this fight for deals, right?
Nope.
And then we just buy what the mastermind doesn't want.
Yep.
And then we rub their nose in it later. But they don't
put it in the fund. Yeah.
No, we actually put it in our fund.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny when we're talking about, somebody said, well, I'm not interested in doing that deal, but I'm interested in, putting some money in your fund. I'm like, it's 6 of one, half dozen another, right? So
good. Yep.
So everybody thought that was pretty funny. But
land in the fund anyway.
that's right. It's going in the fund. It's gonna if you're a participant in our fund, an investor in our fund, then you get to enjoy in those.
Well,
returns.
I mean, the key word there is preferred, right? So they
Right.
have a preferred interest return, and they wouldn't necessarily have that if they were the landlord.
That's right. Yeah, and it's not passive if you're the landlord.
Not at all.
So if you really want to be passive in real estate, invest in syndications and funds.
Yep.
That's the way to do it. Owning notes and rental properties and flips and wholesale deals is not passive.
Yeah, we're looking at a lot of good deals and hopefully getting a whole bunch of stuff under contract this week for the getaway, Thursday getaway, right? So people will be gone Thursday afternoon.
I'll be out of here Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, we'll be gone.
Probably.
We take the long holidays to get caught up on paperwork.
Yeah. I'm going to be leaving Friday. I can't remember. I've got to ask what the schedule is. We'll be at the lake, that's for sure.
But yeah, they went, most of the guys took our properties. Like, okay, that's fine.
We'll just have to go get more.
Yeah, so it's 1 to 4 units, and I think, and the only exception to that is we had someone come in, so I haven't done a deal yet. It's like, you don't have a property? It's like, okay, I'm going to find you one. I'm going to give it to you. So
Yeah.
we make sure the guys that don't have like less than 3 are going to get their 3 in their first year.
Right, yeah.
Right. So hey, that's the plan. By year 1, you've got 3 properties, hopefully 4 doors or more. Mm-hmm. Right. So at least 1 duplex. And if that's the case, you come in and you haven't done a deal. Okay, great. We're going to get you lined up.
Yeah.
Which is sort of the engineer package, right?
Yeah. We, it was kind of interesting. We had one of the jet lending guys was at happy hour with us on Friday night. And he was chatting with Joe.
Right.
And Joe's like, he was like, have you bought anything? Joe's like, yeah, I bought 2 or 3. I can't remember what Joe's up to, 2 or 3. And I was like, Joe, how much you got in equity? He's like, over $100,000, like in the year 1. And he's like, are you kidding me? I said, yeah, man, our guys are buying stuff. What do you think's going on? What do you think we're doing over here?
Yeah.
Buying stuff, trying to build equity and wealth.
I think not including us, like take us out of the equation, our mastermind is $100 million in properties.
Yeah, I think you're right.
We're
it's
at
pretty
100
close
million.
to that.
Yeah.
Pretty close to that. So get to throw our weight around a little bit.
Getting there.
Getting there.
Yeah.
Getting there.
It's all good.
So, but anyways, tons of fun this weekend. The book is coming along faster than I thought it would.
Yep. Well,
Mr. Texas Real Estate Reserved will be out soon. And then the other one I'm working on right now is 12 Rules for Real Estate. We got a whole list of those things we got to go through, but pretty exciting. Hopefully we'll have all that stuff done by the grand opening. We'll see.
yeah, guys. So if you're interested in learning more about our grand opening, which can be a great night, we laid out the agenda today because a couple vendors wanted to know. Still have a few vendor spots open. We're going to be making some phone calls this week. But go to REICTX.com. RE Real Estate, IC Investment Center, Texas, TX.com. REICTX.com. You can see how we're coming along. We got updated some pictures. We're making progress. And as well, there is, if you're just coming as just a attendee, it's $10 for the open house for the grand opening. All proceeds that we make are going to go to charity. We haven't decided which one. We're getting that lined up. But it's $10 to come in. I think we have about 100 RSVPs already. We're hosting this thing for about 200. So go to REICTX.com. Check it out. Make sure you sign up for the grand opening. Hey, welcome back. This is Robert and Jason with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. All right, Jason, let's talk about protecting the asset, right? And that's we've got a number of examples that we can use and we'll talk about during this this segment and the next. One of the things we explored this morning is, hey, we need an off-duty constable.
Oh, yeah.
To help us out and protect some of these assets.
Yes.
Just to
say hi to the neighbors.
Be a presence.
Yeah.
Yep. Let everyone know that, hey, the new owners are here and we're not putting up with this nonsense.
Yeah, the street pharmaceuticals operation needs to run down the
move
street.
It somewhere else. Yep.
Take it on down the street to somebody else's apartment complex.
Again, part of our tenet here is the fact that our covenant is that we provide a very good product to the tenant. Mm-hmm. And we maintain it, and we want it to be safe, and we want it to be livable, and we want it to be nice.
Yep.
And when you walk into any one of our apartments, you should feel like, hey, I could live here.
Yep.
And I don't care who you are, right? And when our mastermind walk in and say, oh, this is nice. Yeah, I could live here.
It's not a bad place.
Yeah, it's crown molding, LED lights, quartz countertops.
Yep.
We'll do it. and we're going to protect those assets. Mm-hmm. And so we do that. And again, just today, we're like, hey, there's probably 3 neighborhoods we'd like a presence in. Mm-hmm. So let's go ahead and interview someone who's going to come and now become the constable for Mr. Texas Real Estate.
That's right. Yeah, we'll even get him a badge.
Give him a badge. He can go out there and help us out.
Yeah.
That's protecting
Just
the
really
asset.
just drive around, turn on the lights. That should fix that problem pretty quick.
Yes, absolutely. And we have good fences for most of this stuff, and it's just stuff happens, right? Because we're buying these run down, like really, really run down properties, right?
I think that's one thing that surprises a lot of people, that if you want good margins, you've got to go into some areas of town that are a little bit rough right now, which are changing, right? So a lot of folks will look at a deal like in Edo, they're like, oh my gosh, they paid like $50,000 for it. Now it's worth $500,000. I'm like, yeah, they bought it 10 years ago when it was a war zone.
When it was tough.
Yeah, when it's a tough area of town. So you just have to be prepared for that type of management, right? And if that's not your forte, that's totally fine. You can go buy the stuff in, Katy or Cypress or whatever. It's just not going to cash flow much, but the appreciation will be there.
So that's the exterior, just the neighborhood doing the right thing there. The other stuff that we do is on the interior, right? We really do set it up. We talked about this. We talked about it this weekend. Hey, we're going to make sure that, one of the things we've said it before, brass angle stops.
Yeah.
Right? Because we know that water damages more houses than fire.
Fire, absolutely.
So we want to make sure that we're covering, all the angle stops, or also known as a quarter turn.
Quarter turn valve.
Yep. Usually you get 3 turns and then it's busted.
Yeah, so the brass is the way to go.
You go with the brass. It's a real fixture.
I swear they're 10 times more expensive than the other ones are.
They roughly are, yeah. They're about twice.
Yeah, but your house isn't going to get flooded.
Right. So there's all these little things that we do.
Or my favorite is water heater. Oh, the water heater's up in the attic, but it's probably got another 7 to 8 years left on it. Like, no, it doesn't.
No.
If it's 5 years or older, just replace that stupid thing. It's $500.
Yep.
I guarantee you, if it's over 5 years old, sometime during the tenure of your ownership, that thing is going to explode when everybody's on vacation. And you're going to walk in and you've got a lake in your living room of hot water.
So we're looking to maintain that stuff, and that's, again, a big thing we do. And we talked about our group, and it's like, hey, when you're taking these things over, even if they're turnkey, there's some repairs you want to make, right? You want to replace any of the flush mounts with LEDs, put the brass angle stops in, make sure any other light bulb in the property is going to be an A19 base, right?
All the same lights.
All the same lights, and leave a 4-pack in there in the closet for them so they can do the repairs themselves. We spoke about it. It's like, hey, you're going to get a phone call, maintenance request for a light bulb. And you're going to be like, what the heck, can't they? But, like 65, 70 years old, light bulb becomes a major product, right? And especially if it's 8 feet off the ground.
That's right.
So in those scenarios, we want to be able to, again, protect the asset, make sure we're doing it. That's why we put LEDs in, so there's not a lot of calls.
That's right.
So no one's unscrewing that flush mount and taking the glass cover down and doing all that stuff. So, again, just the stuff that's going to maintain the asset, protect the asset, because while cash flow is great and the properties we buy typically cash flow, what we really, really want to make sure is in 5 years, is this property going to double in value?
That's right.
Right? Is it 6 years, 5 to 6 years that we property, and when it does come to time to sell, is it just a little cleanup, or are you going to have to put another $50,000 like you're totally rehabbing it, right?
Right.
So,
and here's the other thing. If you're not producing a quality product, especially as you turn over to the new renter, you're not going to get that top tier renter.
Right.
You're going to get that person that's okay that it looks kind of frumpy and you've got white lights over here and yellow lights over here and none of the fixtures match and all. Like I'm telling you want that top tier person in that marketplace because they're going to take care of that asset. And I can already hear the groan of, quote, experienced real estate investors like, well, I don't know, they still tear up the house. I'm like, no, they don't. If you do a really good job on the rehab and maintaining that asset, and then the second thing you do is a really great job screening these tenants, you're not going to have any problems. If I ever look at our portfolio and see we're getting some turnover, usually it's one of those two things. And 9 times out of 10, the turnover in our portfolio comes from buying properties that are already occupied And of course, if a landlord was really, quote, crushing it, they probably wouldn't sell that asset anyway. So when you take over these projects, you're taking on the headaches of the previous landlord, which is fine. Just know that when you're going into the deal. So that's how we look at it is, let's maintain the value of the asset. Let's make sure it stays beautiful so that when we do the turnover and there's a new tenant that comes in there, we've got the best tenant in that marketplace. And it doesn't matter the price point. I've heard this before. This is something you kind of hear from landlords that are just not that experienced. They'll say, oh, the higher priced, leases are better. And then I'll ask, well, why do you think that is? Well, because they got a little bit more money. I'm like, well, if they had that kind of capital, why wouldn't they just buy the house? What you really want is you want an affordable product that a lot of folks can afford. Because then you get to pick the best. You've got more people to pick from. You've got more renters to pick from. That's always an ideal scenario, as opposed to going into higher rental market, and then you've got fewer renters to pick from. So I like that affordable rent model, workforce housing model, because there's a gazillion tenants out there, as opposed to the higher end assets where you believe just because they're paying more makes them a better tenant. And I don't believe that to be true at all.
Those margins are super thin, right?
Right.
We saw what the cap rate is 3 to 4, right?
Yeah.
Just really
It's not
low.
great.
Yep. Anyway, everything that we do is about making sure that following the plan.
Yes.
In 5 years, are we going to be able to sell half to pay off the other half?
Yes.
Right? If we can stay on track with that, and that means, hey, you're going to have to do some maintenance even though you think you don't. Mm-hmm. It's like, like we go out there and maintain the trees. Trees need to be cut every year. Gutters need to be cleaned. Mm-hmm. HVAC needs to be serviced. Like, those things need to happen. Mm-hmm. Like, that really, really needs to happen. And if you're not doing that, you're setting yourself up for bigger problems.
That's right. My favorite with the trees, and we've bought enough from landlords to see it, they don't trim the trees. They start working their way on the roofs, and then all of a sudden you're getting roof leaks. And they don't take care of those, and it just gets worse. So it's
and then the storm comes and it lands on the roof.
That's right, yeah.
Yep, it's just stupid stuff, right?
Yep.
So we want to maintain the asset. Anyway, this is Robert Jason with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. If you guys are interested in learning more about maintaining properties and joining the mastermind, text mastermind to 281-401-9008. Text the word mastermind to 281-401-9008. Hey, we'll be right back. Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Robert and Jason with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Again, we practice what we preach, right? We're not out there nonsense teaching like that. I think that was the big takeaway this weekend.
Oh, that's a good point.
Was everyone was like, wow, you guys are really doing what you told us to do. Like, yes, shocker.
Well, because we got a bunch of folks in our group that have actually, you did this one day where you said, all right, which clubs have you guys, which masterminds, and we had people from every single national, regional, local investment club in the room.
Just about everyone ponied up at some point.
Yeah, the $25,000 package and all that. Everyone in the room was like, okay. And then I'll never forget, you were telling a story. Was it the landlord workshop? For like $10. We do this landlord workshop once a month, right? It was $10. And somebody said, I got more out of this than I did the mastermind I was involved in, in Florida or wherever it's at. So it's a lot of fun when we get all of our mastermind folks together and they share their experiences with other mentorship and education companies. When they end up in our place, it's like, it's a 3-day intensive of essentially market updates and deal review from what we've done the last 3 months. And it's sharing how they can get unstuck with wherever they're at. Buying a deal, financing, marketing. Is there some sort of title issue? Is it a rehab problem? Like, what is it that we need to do to get them to move to the next step? So a lot of folks will come to us and say, well, I just really need somebody to just kind of educate me and handhold me. And I'm like, that's not what this group does. This group buys real estate. If you want to be in a group that buys real estate, we're the one for you.
Yes.
If you need handholding and constant question answering, this is not for you. This is the deal group. This is the doing group.
The problem is I don't think they get that when they buy the $25,000 or $35,000 backpack.
No, they don't get any of that.
Nope.
Well, what's funny is I've been a member of a lot of these groups for years, and 9 times out of 10, and you see it all the time because it comes across our website text, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're like, hey, can you have Jason call me? Like, one of my real estate coaches told me to call him because he's like the expert in Texas. And you're like, what do you... And then I find out they're from some national club, and they're like, oh, yeah, you're the guy to call. I'm like, well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Go, that guru you just paid $25,000 to, call him.
Yeah.
Like, what are you calling me for?
Yeah. We get that from time to time.
I don't... It makes no sense to me. I don't get it. But whatever. I'd be embarrassed. Wouldn't you be embarrassed?
Yeah, I would too.
I'd be embarrassed. You just paid me for coaching, but I'm telling you to go somebody else. I'd be really embarrassed.
So that's the thing, right? So it's and we've had this little dilemma, and we have another crowdfund, a 506c, right, coming up, and it's the Mezzanine Investor Lending Fund.
Yes.
Right? So it's a Texas Mezzanine Investor Lending Fund, which is going to lend a mezz or a second.
The mezz.
It's not quite a second. We're participating, if you will, into small apartments.
So let's talk about what mezzanine is. Let's call
Sure.
it, this is the easiest way I can explain it. It's hard money for commercial real estate. Probably the easiest way to explain it. And it's that gap financing
It's gap funding, yeah.
that you need to be able to get the deal closed. So it's reserves and a % down and
Yep. Mm-hmm.
all that, construction draws and all that sort of stuff. So you need some cash, you need some liquidity to be able to close an apartment complex.
And so our program is designed to help apartment investors up to 15% of the purchase price, not the cost of the deal, the purchase price, and that's up to $5 million. So we're loaning up to $750,000.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, and everyone loves it. And I've had lawyers look at it and thought it was really creative and will work and hold up.
It's the first one in the country.
Right. But then all of a sudden, I've got students of other apartment gurus coming to me saying, hey, I heard you lend on a second. I'm like, oh, who are you with? I'm with so-and-so. Go tell him to lend you the money.
Yeah, what are you calling me for?
Why are you calling me? The caveat is we don't give it to access to anyone other than the mastermind members. So
Right. Well, who am I going to lend money to?
Right.
Some random dude?
some rando dude who calls me on the phone who dropped $25,000 with this guy in the Northeast and now can't get funding.
Yeah. Or am I going to lend it to somebody who's been in my training for the last year and a half, right? I'm like, man, you don't even know how we operate, right? What?
Yep.
So this whole idea is, yeah, you can get educated, but there's best practices when you start doing volume.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people miss that, but when they go to one of our weekends, like we just did the last weekend, it literally everyone's sitting in the back of the room going, holy cow, these guys are like, they're doing it, then they're really doing it, right? Like it just,
Right.
It's kind of like the first time you come out here to the Texas Real Estate Investment Center, you guys have heard about this place for a year now. And you see pictures online, like, oh, that's really cool. And then you get here and you see all the people that are here, you walk in the doors, you go, okay, I didn't think it was gonna be this cool. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
So it's that, it's manifesting what, it's really the manifestation of what could be. And then when you see it in real time, you're like, oh no, it's real.
Yes.
Like, this thing is real.
So this stuff is out there. What we're trying to do, and really, again, back to our core principle, we're trying to create 250 real estate millionaires. Mm-hmm. That's what we're trying to do. And we're taking them out of that professional space that makes over 6 figures a year, high FICO, has capital to deploy, and we're building out their portfolio and helping them all along the way. Mm-hmm. Right? And when they're ready to move into small apartments, now we have the mezz, right? They
Yep.
still have to raise probably 15% on their own, but it's not 30,
Right.
right? It helps. Mm-hmm. And we want to help those folks because we want to make them wealthy.
Yep.
That's our deal. 250 people, period.
Yeah.
Right? And probably will be like 150 people from Texas and then 100 people from Southern California.
Yeah.
Right.
And I imagine the waiting list is going to be like the guys from SoCal are like, hey, ready to get in, ready to get in, ready to
we'll
get
see
in.
if anyone opens up. See who
Yeah.
doesn't renew this year. Yep. And the way we've done it is so that they'll stay in, right? So
Right.
it steps down the cost.
Right.
It's not the same.
Right.
You're not renewing it the last year's price usually goes down about 25%. Mm-hmm. So, I think we had a great weekend. I think those folks were really seeing what we're doing and understand how their capital to deploy can be done smartly. What they're looking at, again, those properties went like that.
Let's go back to the capital piece because I think that's where things get interesting. Most apartment real estate gurus will kind of tell you how to do a deal. That's probably the best way to do it. Not to find a deal,
Yeah.
just to do a deal. And they'll explain the deal steps and how you make money. But then they fail miserably in two places. And the major one is money. What do I do when I run out of money?
Yeah.
And we talk a lot in our group about how to start their own fund.
Yes.
How to start your own syndication.
Yes.
That's where we spend a lot of our time. It's like, guys, these
and
deals
I
are
love
all
the fact
over the
there's
place.
action takers in our group right now building out their sphere of influence.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like they're doing it. Like they got together and like, hey, we're going to do this, this, and this. I'm like, great.
Yeah.
Go do it because I don't have time to do it.
Yep.
So, yes. Why are you and I in business? What are the two things we're looking for?
Deals and money.
What don't gurus teach?
Deals and money.
That's the problem.
They teach how to do that. They teach the process.
They
don't
the
teach
process
the deals and
of
money.
buying the apartment, but they don't show you how to find the apartments. They don't show you how to find the money.
Well, this is actually, I've been to so many apartment classes before. This is actually how they'll say it. Well, you know, I've got special access to all these brokers, and these brokers really won't answer like you plebes phone calls. So,
Bullcrap.
yeah. So you got to kind of be a part of our group, and then you can get deals. And you're like, wait, what? Wait a second. I got to go to your special uber super secret boy band, and then I get to be a part of the program, or what?
And then again, keeping it at 250 means that we can keep funneling deals, right? At 250, there's no need for like seniority or level silver and gold and all that nonsense.
Our real estate mastermind will never be more than 250. There's not going to be 10,000 people in there. And
we don't need it.
Conferences with 50,000 people.
Big rooms with 3,000 people all cheering. We don't need it.
Well, we're not doing it like that.
Nope, I'm not going to do that. Anyway, if you're interested in that, again, text Mastermind at 281-401-9008. Text Mastermind at 281-401-9008. And check us out. This is Jason and Robert with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. We will be back.
Welcome back. Jason Bible, Texas Real Estate Radio Network.
So,
Orfino is here.
I signed up for Webull.
What is that?
It's kind of like Robinhood.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But it's not.
Yeah.
So I signed up, and I tried to get my wire over, and there was some confusion on the wire, and the money popped back in my account 5 days later. So I said, okay.
All right.
Webull clearly didn't work. Couldn't figure that out. Let me go. I signed up for Robinhood last night.
Okay.
But I'm happy because I was about to buy Doge at 44 cents a coin.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that delay, last night it was like, I think it was 30 cents when I woke up this morning. I was like, oh, that's good.
The Doge.
So that's good. So I think I'm going to finally figure that out and get that out there.
Okay.
So
interesting.
I'm now a Robinhood user.
Oh, jeez.
Boy, right away they're trying to give me credit and I'm like, no.
Yeah,
I got a couple $1,000 here I'm going to play with. That's what I'm going to do.
Peter Schiff had a really interesting show. I was in the gym. Was that last Monday? And he was talking about a buddy of his that they were able to borrow $10 million.
Right.
So he borrowed $10 million on margin, and then of course there was this huge collapse in Bitcoin. And he goes, I haven't called him, and he hasn't answered my phone. It's kind of like what's his name? Oh, what is that guy? That loudmouth hedge fund manager that's invested in all these cryptos that was talking all that trash about a month ago. He has disappeared from the landscape. These guys get real quiet real quick when things get a little volatile.
Well, there also is the thing. It's how much of them are just pumping the stuff so they can dump it.
That's right.
And how much of them are defecating on it so they could sell the short, right?
Yeah.
So I don't believe any of that stuff
I
out
don't
there.
believe
I think
any
it's just a play to make them more money one way or the other.
Well, this is the classic example of it doesn't really matter as long as you get the press.
Right, exactly.
So that's at least the way I look at it. Is it, as much as I enjoy Peter Schiff, I'm not a big gold guy.
Right.
But what he says about the economy and economics and all that are 100% correct.
So Michael Berry's shorted Tesla, right?
Oh, yeah.
And just by announcing that he shorted Tesla
dropped. Right.
Tesla dropped. So if he shorted it by a little bit, he could be in and out.
That's right.
I'm done. I won.
Yep. I won. I made my money.
Yep. I'm out, right? So when you have $500 million to play with, you don't need big margins. Right? What's 4% on $500 million?
That's right.
Right?
Well, what's funny is, he just runs that family office, just him and a couple of families that.
Yep.
I mean, because he made all his money in the crash, right? Yep. So, interesting dude to say the least. Maybe we'll get him on the show one day.
Maybe. But just the opposite is true is, boy, there's a program out there, Father and Sons, called Now You Know. Mm-hmm. And it's all about e-vehicles, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, the main topic is Tesla.
Right.
It's electric vehicles. And they did a 35-minute YouTube video just ripping Elon for the fact that they don't have a public relations manager. And while it sounds cool,
Yeah.
the problem is when that car crashed up in the Woodlands, there was no one to answer.
Yeah, no one to answer the questions.
Press from Tesla.
Yeah.
So I know it's a crappy position and no one sees great value in it except when there's a crisis.
I will tell you this. We used to do a crisis management class every year because I was the risk manager.
Yep.
So, and we brought in these guys, we did all this training because it's not that when things are going good, you screw up a public statement, nobody cares because nobody's really listening.
Yep.
When someone dies,
and then you screw up that public statement,
that's a big problem.
Yep. Or you're nonchalant about it.
Yeah, that's a big problem.
Yep.
You've got to have a lot of empathy while explaining some very technical things.
Yes.
9 times out of 10, people don't die in these things because, oh, it was just a pure accident. We don't know what happened. It's like, no, there's some technical stuff that's got to be relayed to the press, while at the same time managing risk because there's ultimately going to be a lawsuit out of this thing, right? So I haven't kept up with what's going on in the Woodlands. My understanding is autopilot was off. That's kind of the last thing I had heard.
It wasn't anything what the cop said. Now that's the problem.
That's a problem.
You have an on-site constable within 15 minutes of the call giving a quote that just won out everywhere.
Right, yeah.
And then Elon got on the quarterly call and said, "Hey, it's a travesty. It's the worst journalism I've ever seen."
Yeah.
But they're at fault as well.
There's still a family involved here, right?
Yeah, but someone from Tesla should have said, "I'm available for press calls on this incident. We pulled the black box. Here's the data. Let me do a Zoom call, go over it." And someone
here's the
had
video.
their foot on the accelerator, right?
Yes, here's the video, guys.
Exactly. So and you wouldn't have seen the volatileness in the stock.
Yeah.
Right? And so I believe in that, but on the day-to-day, it's just nonsense, right?
Right.
Because everyone's just looking to write an article or a blog, and they're just digging for someone to give. So I understand why he shut it down, but in the times where your stock has slid from 700 to 560,
got to make a phone call.
Someone's got to be able to answer some questions, right? And even if it's just to say, "Oh, there's big news this weekend."
What's that?
They are already producing the Model Y castings in Austin.
Oh, did you get the text? Did you read that text I sent you? That's what it said.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. It was in the comments section.
Yeah.
They said they're already doing the castings and they're shipping them to Fremont. I'm like,
yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
So they're already doing
the
production.
Machines are here.
Yeah, they're like, let's just fire them up.
Fire them up. Put them to use. Yeah.
Let's get them going.
There's a guy, Joe T, and we should drive out there and maybe get that guy to do a little time with us. Maybe on a Zoom call, but he's there every day with his drones.
Oh, that's cool.
Like
this is the guy that Elon said, "Yeah, man, you fly your drones over here. I don't care."
Like, hey, the cop said to this. He's like, "Nah, you can fly it over."
Yeah, I don't care.
And he's gotten bolder and bolder. Like he hovers like really close to see like what's happening on the third floor.
Oh, that's cool.
It's kind of like a fly on the wall stuff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He's going over now, and I guess everyone's used to it.
Yeah.
But I saw the video. I saw the castings. I was like, look at that. Those are rear castings. They're sitting right there.
Yeah.
And then there's a Sandy Munro vehicle talking about the 8,000-pound press.
Yeah.
And it's for Cybertruck.
Oh,
and
8,000 ton.
8,000 ton.
Yeah,
and
8,000 ton.
It's already in.
Oh, they already got it?
It's in Austin right now.
No kidding.
Yeah, so they're like, it's happening.
So I was reading a couple articles and they said, hey, they're contacting Model S and Cybertruck owners or pre-orders. And I went through, I pulled up my Tesla stuff. I'm like, I don't see anything in there. I ain't got an email from them. So
high enough, yeah.
I think it's the real early guys, but they're expecting to start rolling those trucks out 2021.
And you got to pay.
Yeah, that's right. You got to write that check.
I mean, you got 72 hours to basically get through their financing department,
That's
or you
right.
get there, or you're out, right?
Yeah.
Go to the back of the line. They don't mess around.
Yep.
So, so a lot of good stuff at Tesla. We're super happy. I think, you know what? That's what I'm going to do.
What's that?
This weekend, I'm going to take a ride out to Austin and drive by the factory.
Okay.
I just want to see it. I want to see the
Put
scope.
your eyes
I
on it.
see it on video. I really want to get the breadth of it, you know?
I think you're going to pull up to that fence and realize, wow, this is huge.
At least two
It's gonna
buggies.
be
One
like-
buggy's on the way out, one buggy's on the
That's
way in,
right.
so it's not a bad trip.
You're
right?
going to sit there and look, and you're going to see these little dots in the horizon. Like, that's the factory over there. You're going to realize how big it's big.
So they started working on a SpaceX building there.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. They're talking about, remember you talked about moving the headquarters to Texas?
Yeah.
They got ticked off at the
The folks in Fremont. Yeah.
$20 an hour bureaucrat, right? Who shut down his $1 billion operation. So,
And part and parcel of that, looks like Roadster's doing 0 to 60 in 1.1.
Oh my goodness.
It's, I started posting some more of the Tesla stuff, and I said, here you have a 4-door car, the Model S Plaid Plus, the fastest production car on the planet. It's faster than the latest Bugatti.
Yep.
It's $3 million. And it gets smoked by a $150,000 electric car. It's just, and then somebody said, well, how long can it do that? I'm like, have you ever seen Bugattis actually race?
Right.
It's a W16 with 4 turbos. It's not a race car.
Right, exactly.
It's a car for an oil chic to look like a cool guy at the club. Like, it's not a real race car. You want a real race car, you buy a Porsche. But anyway, so just amazing. And all the active aero and all that stuff. And now the Roadster, they're saying, with the SpaceX package, 0 to 60 in a second, which is crazy.
All right. Hey, guys, thanks for joining us tonight. You come back, we're going to have a little message, and then we're done for the night. Thanks. We have to remember there's a 3.5 minute